can I do this with two doubles next to each other? I can. I can. This is exciting. This is exciting. Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2 playing our city of Walden. And as of right now, what you're looking at is something I did not build on camera. I decided the other day to listen to some of you guys. You had recommended that I download a mod that allows me to separate out light industrial from heavy industrial and then also warehouse units. So really the only difference in all of this is that our light industrial buildings produce consumer goods with a smaller environmental impact. The heavy industrial has intermediate materials with significant environmental impacts. This has your smokestacks and all of that kind of stuff. And then you have your warehousing, which is just warehouses, storage yards, and distribution centers for moving industrial goods around. Now, what's interesting is if we look at the ground pollution, all of this here, I believe all of these are warehouses. If I click on this, no, these are all light industrial manufacturing. So what's interesting about this is that the light industrial produces very, very little ground pollution, if any. If I come right here, ground pollution 7. If I come over here, ground pollution 1. If I come over to here, ground pollution 0. But the ground pollution is very, very minor. Whereas in the old way of doing things, this is what our ground pollution looks like. 32,616, 32,767. So this is going to be very useful because now I can intersperse some industrial a little bit more frequently into the build, which I think is going to be really just an interesting way to build. I've never done that before. I expanded the canal a bit. Nothing here is permanent. We're going to see how this goes with time, but I thought it was nice to kind of wrap it around the backside of the neighborhood of Pelican. So we'll see how that goes throughout the rest of the build. Now, before I get too much further into the build, I do want to finish this little section here of Key Shore Park. So we're just going to finish this tiny area here. We've got this bike bridge. It's working really, really well. Tons of people seem to be using it, which is great. I want to actually lower this bridge a little bit so that it's not in the way of our ferry. But right now it does feel a little high. If I was to pulse this right here, there's as high as our ferry gets. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and slowly reduce the height of this bridge to about there. And in doing that, we're going to then be able to reduce the rest of all of these nodes here. So let me just go ahead and get this out of the way. All right, so now that we've got this looking a little bit better, and I don't know what we're going to do about the traffic jam for bikes. Like somebody else is going to just have to figure that out. All right, so Keyshore Park actually goes all the way up the edge of this canal until we get to Winterbourne Bridge, and that's where that park ends up stopping. So I want to fill this little area out here. Most of it is probably going to end up being trees, but I do know that there's one thing in particular I would like to place in this park, and I think it's going to go right here next to this section of Holly Street. So one of my longtime viewers and subscribers to the channel, Janine, did let me know in the comments of the last video that unfortunately her family dog Gidget recently passed away a little bit unexpectedly. So in honor of Gidget, we're going to place the dog activity park, and we're going to place it right here. I mean, it fits perfectly. We're going to place it right here on the corner of Holly and Sunnyside Street. So we're going to rename this in honor of Gidget, Gidget Memorial Park. Now, it needs a little bit of decoration to kind of blend into the rest of this area. So let's go ahead and just place down a few trees around this guy. For this whole area here, I did do a lot of trees here, and the reason for that is that when you're in this park, I want you to kind of forget that you're super close to a major city. You can look over, you see the bridge, but on the opposite side of this bridge here, this is going to go and back into being zoned land, whether industrial or commercial, I'm not sure yet, but I want to kind of disguise that transition a bit for the people walking through the park. Now, all that's really left is this little area here, and I think it would benefit from having maybe a little bit more connectivity. So let's go ahead and grab this little path, and I want to see if I'm able to do this. If I come down here, can I connect? No, it looks like it's going to disconnect the path there. I don't want to disconnect from anything, but I would like to kind of expand what is going on here. If I was to send this over maybe this direction, can we just do this like this? Turn everything off, and I send this right to here. just like so, right? And then we're going to also send another connection right to here, just like so, just to give us a little bit more pedestrian-friendly walkways here. And then I'm going to see if I can make this work. I basically want to make this bottom section look a little bit nicer. That's not too bad, actually. And then for this one as well, if I just grab a portion of this, we can kind of make that look a little bit nicer as well. So it just gives a bit of extra connectivity in that area. And then honestly, I think that all that's really needed over here is more trees. There's not going to be a ton else happening here. We've got our Gidget Memorial Dog Park. We also have our Spin Vista Park. We have a winding park. We've got an arch. We've got some other buildings in here. We have a pier. So like, there's a lot already here that people are finding interesting. So I think all this needs to really be called finished would be just a few more trees to kind of fill everything out. Beautiful. So there we go. I think for now, that's what we're going to say is the end of Keyshore Park. Now, I didn't actually mean for this, but I like that we've got kind of similar sweeping movements throughout this central area that looks actually pretty nice. I might do more detailing off camera. I'm not sure yet. But for now, that kind of wraps Keyshore Park for the most part. And now we can begin to really develop the rest of this area. Any luck on our traffic jam? Oh, good. It's cleared. And now we just have 1 million people riding their bike across this bridge, but that's kind of what we wanted, isn't it? So I can't really complain about that. Part of me does wonder, like, does it make sense to have another connection go over this way and around? I'm just curious. If, I might have to use Anarchy for this, but if I was just going to, like, take this guy, right? Keep this elevated. We want this all to be like a bridged section. If I was to go to here and I was to come right to here, Anarchy's not even on and this is working. Are you serious? I don't even have Anarchy on. And that just worked? Okay, there is a little bit of a bump. A little bit of a weird bump going on here. But if I raise this section up, and then let me just kind of mess with this just a little bit until I get it just right. There we go. Just gave it a little bit, a few little rocks. I think that looks fine. We're going to turn Anarchy back off before I forget. A ton of people are actually going that way, which is really interesting. It just shows me that that kind of connection was needed so people could turn this way and go down towards the waterfront, whereas these people are mainly coming off here and going into Sylvester itself. Okay, with that out of the way, I think it's now time that we transition over into the next part of all of this, which is I want to focus on getting some type of train into our downtown area. We've already expanded back, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks to get over here to Beechwood Street. And I think it's now time for us to consider what a train would look like. And I spent some time off camera looking through the different options we have. First things first, we're going to have to unlock the train. So let's go ahead and grab those. We've got 2 different railway depots. We have the rail yard, which is like the OG, and it's quite large. But then we also now have this rail depot. So this has 10 vehicles. This only has 8. But I think with the size of our city, what it is, we don't need much more than 8. So what I'm thinking is that this rail depot needs to go somewhere, I don't know, somewhere valuable. And I think it might be over here around this oil industry because we're going to need to do a little bit more work by this oil industry. First, I think we need to buy another piece of land. And if I look here, we've got a hill for most of this. I would love to just try to make this section here work. Maybe right here could be where this oil industry goes. So if we bought these 2 tiles, we could do a little bit of flattening right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's grab both of these tiles. We can afford it, so I'm not too pressed about it. I didn't actually check on natural resources though. Oh, there's farms. Okay, we got to buy 1 more tile. We're going to buy this tile as well. Thank God we're making money. Are we still making money? We're still making money. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and build this on this tile instead. And the reason being is this is already flat. And if this is fertile land, I should probably leverage that for more farms. So we've got a rail, the connection all the way over here that is coming with the base game. So I think what the base map. So I think what I would like to do is go ahead and have the rail situated in such a way that it can leverage that connection. If we were to just bring that connection over along the edge here, this is kind of where the land begins to shift. So I think I'd want to have this kind of positioned somewhere like so, maybe, just along that angle. And what are the add-ons we can put here? Extra tracks, increase capacity for more trains, adds 8 vehicles. Oh, wow. And I can just kind of almost expand this by 2, which is kind of wild. And then there's also a maintenance hall, which just tacks onto the top, dedicated facilities that make train maintenance faster. What's the upkeep on that? 15,000? Actually kind of looks kind of nice. And this being over here where there's going to be a number of fields and stuff. Oh, that's going to look good. All right, let's go ahead and just get this connected to the outside world, which is all the way over here. We're going to turn on our contour lines. And unfortunately, this is going to have to be done with Anarchy, only because I don't have a means to do this without it. So I'm going to send this out straight from here. Then I'm going to turn Anarchy on, and we're going to go ahead and just get this moving along the side of our map. And honestly, if I was just to send this straight, it only goes up 0.1%. So I'm going to send this straight along to here. I'm going to use the curve tool. It's going to be quite a large curve. But just connect it right up into there. So now we have the ability to connect that out to the outside world, which I think is going to be really, really valuable. And then I need to connect this guy into our rail depot. So we're going to send one guy up into here. And then I am going to use, we can turn Anarchy back off. I'm going to use complex curve here to get this to connect right up into there. Now, it's pretty small at the moment. We don't have a whole lot going on, but that's okay. Let's grab just a regular 2-lane road, nothing fancy. And I'm going to then switch Anarchy on, and I'm going to bring this out to here. And then I almost think what I want to do, actually back this up. I almost think what I want to do is have this all be one intersection. So now this is all just one shared intersection, which I'm happy with. Okay, so now we've got our railway depot. We can get trains kind of moving and grooving. I'm sure this is going to change a million times as we continue building out this city. If I head back over this way, we now need to place our terminus station. I've looked through, we only have 2. We can either do the Mediterranean train station, right? Which if I was to go ahead and just remove Foggy Street as well as Wood Street, although there's a taxi depot on that street, we're going to get rid of that. We could place this guy right here. Oh no, we got to get rid of this road too, Carlisle Street. Means there's not a lot of connectivity for Bowling College, but that's okay. If this was here, 3 tracks coming out of it naturally. And if I look here, a historic station can be upgraded with additional tracks and a glass and iron shed, enhancing its capacity and functionality. It has 4 platforms, $75,000. Or we could do the terminus station, and this can be upgraded with extra platforms, station services, and integrated bus and tram terminals. So part of me thinks that this might actually be a better play because it has integrated tram terminals. The only downside to this is it's very big. The plus side here is that it is a little bit smaller. Although, is it? This would go 1 unit past this center road we have right here. This guy, yeah, this guy goes 4 units past. So I'm a little conflicted. I think in terms of style, this Mediterranean one just is going to look nicer in this area. Place it right here along Rosemead. What does that look like? I think that looks really nice. I think it looks really nice. It's a little bit different. This is our extra platforms, which could expand on either side, which is great. And then this right here is our train shed, which just gives a decorative glass covering. I think that probably just increases the... Well, actually doesn't tell me anything. I don't know if it does anything. But I think that just in general looks really nice and is really centrally located right here along Rosemead Street. So now we got to figure out how all these trains are going to work, which means even though I did all this work here in Pelican, it's probably all going to have to be destroyed. Okay, now we've got this train in the middle of our city. We got to figure out what this is going to look like as it expands and begins to develop our rail network. So I think the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to set up a train over here. This is relatively far from this area, and if you're in a car, you'd have to drive all the way over this direction, and if you're walking, you can't really walk along the highway, even though in the game it does let you. So I'd love to have a train stop over this direction, and then we could send that train out this way. Right? So then I also would want to have another train that probably goes out this direction into this area, maybe comes down and loops over here, and maybe even crosses over this river here, and then we can have a third line come down this direction and go over here, maybe cross at this point and feed out further into the outskirts of the town, of the map. So to get things started, I think our first stop is going to be right over here before continuing over and connecting into the exterior line. So let's go ahead and build our second train station. And honestly, I have this road here, Harbor View Street. I have no reason to think that Harbor View Street is not going to work for what I want. So let's go ahead and just upgrade this whole thing, put bikes on both sides, and we're going to upgrade this entire road into an avenue. It's not going to be a divided avenue like we have with Holly Street, but it is going to be an avenue nonetheless. Let me make sure my contour lines are on as we're doing this. I am going to send it up just a little bit further because I want to have our train station kind of right around this area. If I was to send a road, no bikes along this road, let's send this road back and send it over and down. I don't know if that's going to be the right size or not. We're going to go ahead and upgrade all of this, though, so that it's 3 lanes. 3 lanes kind of feels like overkill. I think we do 2 lanes. I think we do 2 lanes to here, 3 lanes here at the exit. Then that gives me a nice place for us to place a train station. Now we did the Mediterranean train station. We could also do, I think just a local train station would be more than adequate for this area. Does this come with any upgrades? Subway interface can be added. Extra platforms, modern entrance. Oh yeah, okay, there's a number of things here. If I was to line this up, just like so, get rid of this. Line that up just like so. This is the edge here. So this could come right to here. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. And we've got this opening here that we can place some other things. Now, once I get subways, those can go here. We can add a new entrance with additional parking. We can add some platform roofs, or we could also add some extra platforms, which this I think is going to come in handy once we continue to zone out this area, because this is going to be pretty dense. We're still very close to the downtown. First things first, I think I'm going to want to redo kind of this whole block right here. So let's go ahead and get rid of this new area of our highway. We're going to get rid of really all of this here, get rid of this roundabout and all of this here, and really open this area up. We still have an entrance here to the city, so it's not, it's not ideal, but it will work. And I am going to go ahead and expand these highways a little bit further along. We're going to keep it in parallel mode. I'm going to raise this up. I believe this is at 10, or am I crazy? It's actually not at 10, but 10 should be more than enough. Let's go ahead and leave it at 10. Let's just try to do this way. We're going to go ahead and connect straight on out. I want to have a curve here. I want to go right here along the side of Pelican and send these highways. Let's do it like this. That looks great, actually. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want to be able to get these highways or these train lines underneath. And the first one, let's go and we're going to shuffle, I think, back and forth a little bit here. So bear with me. We're going to switch here. We're going to grab this guy, and I want to have this be a curve. And this is going to curve kind of softly out this direction, just like this. Oh, I did not mean to click cancel. Softly out this direction, just like so, going underneath of those highway connections. Beautiful, beautiful. I do think we have to get rid of this parking lot. No one's parking there right now, though, so I think that's probably just fine. And then I just kind of imagine we're going to plow right through all of this. So let's do this. Was this zoned with platter? It was. Can probably just double click each of those, get rid of this section as well of Oak Street. And we're going to try to keep, I think, that parking lot. Then let's go here. And can I do this with two doubles next to each other? I can. I can. This is exciting. This is exciting. Okay. Here's what I think. Here's what I think. We want this to kind of go to here and then begin to go this direction. And I basically just want to send it up. Can I do that? No, I can't. Can this cross over here? Not really. What are we snapping to? Oh, we're snapping to angle. You know what? Turn off all of this. We don't need any of that on. There's got to be a way I can squeeze this in. This is saying overlapping object, and it's because of those supports. But if I was to do this real slow, don't snap to existing stuff. Keep it going straight and just go bam, right? So now we've got these two bridges here. Here's where this is going to become a challenge, but I'm curious. That's 7.5. I mean, I need this lower than that. This road is going to have to go. We're going to sever this street here. This whole area is going to be redeveloped. So it's kind of why I did it off camera when I showed it to you. I was like, this isn't actually going to probably stay for very long. Let's be real. Can I lead from here at the 180 and curve up? If I go from 180 all the way to here and then curve in, does that work? No, but look at that. It's only a 2.8. Okay, so here's what I think has to happen then. We're going to need to raise some of this up. I know we just built it, but let's actually undo everything we just built. Let's build the train first, which probably should have been how I started this, and then we'll go from there. If we keep this at 80, this is at 180 right here. Actually, yeah, keep all of those on. That's all I want all of that on. This is going right to about here. And then this can come straight on down and in. So nice smooth slope. Nothing wrong with that. That's great. This still has a connection going this way. We've diverted that traffic over to here, though, which isn't ideal. I am going to also get rid of this street. We're just going to be doing a lot of redevelopment here. I was thinking this highway would continue along this kind of side of Pelican and kind of head over into this area. Eventually, we'll probably redevelop this farmland. And maybe this highway, though, just kind of comes over and dies over here somewhere. Maybe the highway ends up becoming this section of road here. Because this road, someone had made the comment that Beechwood Street really should continue over into our industrial area. And I'm starting to think I agree with them. So what if we do this? It's a lot happening all at once, but I think all this is going to play together really nicely. What if we were to curve Beechwood Street right here to this point, right? Give that a nice little curve. We're then going to go ahead and just briefly give this a shimmy to this point here. I'm not going to leave that there. I'm just going to move it for a second. Then we're going to send this road straight on out to here. And then we're going to get rid of this whole road. Send this straight on out. Just like so. Yes. I love this. We'll leave the bike lanes. I know it's duplicative, but that's okay. Does this fit in here still? It doesn't, which is fine. That's okay. I think we can then just move this to a new permanent home, which honestly, wouldn't mind that being right here, but that's saying now it's overlapping. Overlapping what? It's a road. It's just a road. Better yet. I know we just built it. Let's keep this here. It's a staple. It belongs here. I like the bike lane here. We're going to give this some manicured grass right here across from the park. Slap down a few birch trees. Okay, so there's that. Then we'll build this road so that it interacts nicely with this bus lane. If I was to go like this, straight, head right on over, I should then be able to take this right into here. So that gives an upgrade to what is now being referred to as Fairview Street. That's fine with me. I'm not going to complain too much. But then I think what that tells me is that Ironwood Street, which is right here, is going to need to change. What I want to do is I want to take this highway and I want to end it right here. Right here at Ironwood Street. I'm going to even remove this little section. We're going to do no bikes on this section of avenue. And I'm going to place this right here. Oh, nope. I want to just connect right to this angle, just like so. So basically nothing changed there. And I might even upgrade this to a 6-lane road. Just like so. Right? Right? Are you following me? Are you following what I'm thinking here? This is an idea. I don't know if it's a good one. We're going to do it anyway. I'm going to curve this along the backside here of Pelican. I need it to be tall enough to go over top of this, though. And that does seem to work. So if I was to go... Let's do it the other way. If I was to go from here to here, like I just need you to work over top. Can this 12.5 get over there? It can. So we're going to do that. Then this I actually think might be fun to do as a complex curve. Just give it a little bit of something different there. Which actually it looks quite flat, which is not bad. Right? And then we need to bring it back down because it's only bridged here because of the rail and the canal. It's the only reason. Other than that, we don't want it bridged for most of this. And I'm even starting to think we can go ahead and fill all this in. This is an idea. This is some of the extra land that we took for making the canal. We placed it right here. I'm going to reduce the size of this to 40. And we're going to try to smooth all of this out. That's the wrong tool. Beautiful. So now we've got that highway kind of raised just a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but just enough. It also means that if you're living here, you don't actually have to see the industrial that's over there. It's hidden. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we want. Now, let's get this highway back to the ground because it doesn't need to be raised like this anymore. So this is going to continue on straight. I'm going to go straight for a little bit further. We are going to bring this back down to the ground. What is our... Here's where our connection point is. Maybe it makes more sense to go like this and come off of here. Yeah. I think that's perfect. Now, with that, does mean we've got to make some adjustments. So we've got this avenue that now just kind of goes nowhere, and we have this avenue that kind of just goes nowhere. And I do want to use both of these avenues to our advantage. So I think what I want to do is, one, unpause the game now that we've got our highway back in place. And two, figure out how we want to leverage both of these avenues. So first one that I want to leverage is this one here. I'm going to go ahead and take the same exact avenue that we already had, and we're going to send it up to right where it's just going to kiss where the hill begins to go up. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's also make sure it gets the same tree. I believe that is chestnut. If I know anything about myself, it's that is a chestnut tree at the mature stage. It is. Beautiful. That's kind of our little entrance there. But then right here, we can just do an entrance off of this side of the highway. So it's not going to help you get back on the highway. But if you wanted to just quickly hop off the highway, come right over here, you could do that. No problem. Bam. And then if you wanted to get back on the highway, you can do that right here. Bam. So now we have an extra set there. This is an exit. This can also go straight. But now you have 2 lanes getting on. So I really would want have this, I think, be 4 lanes. But we're going to want this to be elevated. And I wonder if that also means that this here would be 4 lanes. You just have that extra little bit there. But that way, we still have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is only 4, which isn't ideal. Because there's going to be this lane where you kind of have to merge in, which isn't great. So I wonder if we do just go ahead and turn this into 2 lanes, right? 2 lanes, 2 lanes, they merge together into a 4 lane. You all have to get over it. That's all fine. If I use move it, we can just go ahead and make some minor adjustments here to make this look a little bit less chaotic. And because this is the top of this section here, it's really not bad. Really not bad at all. I don't think you need this light. There's nobody else over here. Get rid of that light and get rid of that median or that crosswalk. And now you've got a little connection right there, which is perfect. Then we have this avenue, which I do want to continue this avenue out and over. And I think it would connect into this street. So I think what needs to happen here is we need to make a little bit of an adjustment in that I am going to send this divided avenue, which is going to have bike lanes on both sides. If I was just to send it straight on up, it would go underneath. It would have a rail crossing, level rail crossing. I think I'm fine with that. Get rid of all of this. Go ahead and click on this bus line. We're going to need to get rid of this one connection it has. Sorry, bus. And back that up. Then we're going to take this avenue and we are going to just dead end it right into here at the 180. Right? Nothing wrong with that. It might even be an avenue that I think crosses over the bridge. Hold on. Hold on. I think it does need to cross over. And we're going to need to be able to get... I didn't think about this for this, but we're going to need to be able to get our canal underneath here, aren't we? So that poses a small problem. Okay, right here is overlapping, but it's at 1625. 1625. Nope, sorry. Straight from here to here to here. Now, this is where it's going to get challenging. It's because this needs to basically come down all the way and connect up into this guy at 0. And I don't know if we're able to do that kind of neatly, you know? If I connect to angle and I do a complex curve, which I know as like a concept for a train doesn't bode well. Clearance too low. But we're less than 5%, which isn't bad. The clearance is too low. So then what if I just go like this? We're at 7%. Should I just say forget about it? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Connect it up and in. See what she looks like. She actually looks fine. She looks fine. I do think this is just too high in general because of the game's clearances. If I was to bring this out and get this down to 6. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to turn it though. Get this down to 6, right? Because then what we can do is we can grab the bridge itself and I think just lower it a bit because it doesn't need to be this high. It's a little bit higher than it realistically needs to be. So if I was just to go in here like this, bring it down a bit. Now we're talking. That is smooth. That's beautiful. We love to see it. So we've got to finish what we were doing with this bridge. I need to remember, before we build anything, to go ahead and turn on Anarchy just briefly to send this out a bit further. And then I think we can probably... Nope, we can't. So we're going to have to do Anarchy now and forevermore when it comes to our tram or our ferry, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and connect that over that direction. Then we need to figure out how we get a bridge over here. I am tempted to remove this section of road, but also part of me thinks it could be cool just to have a big bridge go right over this. So if I was to do I wish I could sort by lanes. That would be super helpful. This is a 4-lane truss arch bridge, which is what we have over there as well. If I turn anarchy off, that fits just fine. If I bring this down, we know 16 to 5 is kind of the sweet number that you want. So if I was to go just like this, turn all this off except for snap to the middle here, back this up so that it's just there, bam. This edge over here might be a little bit too close. That's going there. That's going there. Turn off the bikes. Send this back down to the ground. We're at 8.1. I am actually going to give this the most minor of curves so that it kind of lines up straight with those, even though both of those train lines are going to be moving. We could easily probably get this to go down, or we can do something like that, which is just absolutely atrocious. Or we make an adjustment to this train. Instead, this train, I think, needs to come straight on up. Turn off parallel. And also delete this and this. Sorry, guys. You got to go real quick. This train's going to come straight on up, stuck to the ground. I'm also going to delete both of these, and I'm going to reconnect them. I just think I can make them look a little bit better. I just send them straight on out. Like, that little curve is not anything significant, so I'm going to do that instead. Then, we're going to try to go over here. Can I get underneath of this? I can. So, let's do this. I'm going to want to bring this kind of right along the edge here. Nice wide curve. Head out this direction. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at how she's expanding outward. This is wild. Now we need to reconnect this guy back up. I'm just going to reconnect this whole thing with a 4-lane. There's no reason not to. That looks gorge. Absolutely gorge. And it affords me the opportunity to put an appropriate type of interchange connection here where we could come right off of this road and connect right into here. So I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, I think that works. Then that gives me this connection here, which I know you're all screaming in the comments. This is level 5? It's not, so then nothing is sacred. We're going to go ahead and make this guy a big old roundabout. I'm thinking this. I'm thinking like a nice tree roundabout. We could do one that has a bit more kind of pavement to it. I don't necessarily love the pavement. I like that one, actually. That one's not too bad. And with that, let's do a little bit of a rework here. This is an office building, just like so. So what I'm going to do is switch over to our office. We're going to do low, is this low density commercial? Southwest. Pause. Go ahead and delete this. Go back here. Go here. Southwest. Just like this and go bam. Right? That's working just fine. But then switch to platter. And we're going to want to reduce the size of this. Let's turn off these two fellas. Do we have a regular low-density office that can fill that? No. How about that? It does work there. So we'll do one of those. All that needs a few more trees, but that's okay. Now we've got a nice connection for everybody coming into the city. You've got dedicated turn lanes as needed, and then it reduces back down to the 4-lane avenue that then feeds you over to here. That's great. Can this become a roundabout? It can. Do we like that it did? I don't actually know what I think. There we go. And in some ways it's giving a little bit more. I'm liking that we're getting a little bit more height here and there. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to put bridges on all of this. And then we're actually going to remove the bridge. And I think we're going to do that on all of this, so that I can then come in here and flatten all this stuff out. There we go. So now we've got a new entrance and exit into the highway. We've integrated this train line in here. We've not actually done anything with our trains yet. So now we probably need to start doing that. So this train needs to get over to here. We've got to keep in mind that some of these train lines are absolutely going to change with time. So they're not always going to be this way. We're going to do a nice 210 meter sweeping curve. And then I'm going to do a, I think, complex curve. Go over to here. If I was to go over to here and go something like this, what does that look like? Is that crazy? I think what I'd rather do, go ahead and move all this. Let's do this instead. Right where this road ends, this 4-lane avenue, this is where we're going to do our next avenue, right here. Get rid of this avenue and get rid of this road. Along this avenue, we're then going to go ahead and grab our 2-lane road and do what we just did here, but we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to take this and we're going to go all the way back to here. Then we're going to use our curve tool. Curve just like so. Send it all the way to here. Curve tool and send it right down to here. Then we're also going to turn off all of the bike lanes on here. We don't need bike lanes on every road. It's a little much. Move this guy right to here instead. I like it. I like it, although I was not looking at the ground. And then for this, I'm just going to take this road. We're going to do a level crossing for now. It may not stay a level crossing forever. That's much nicer. Oh, yeah. Now, we're going to have to turn anarchy on for this next part because I want to take this connection here. We're going to send it out straight. All of this is perfectly flat. There's no reason to deviate from the plan. Right here, we begin to see some change in our grade. So I'm just going to go ahead and send this out right here at the 180 and just connect it up. This will probably change a ton, but for now it's going to work just fine. And then I think right here, we'll also do another kind of connection point here, just like so. A little interchange there. Looks nice. Turn anarchy back off. And with that, we can do our first passenger rail, which our first passenger rail is going to come from right here. I think the first passenger rail should be like a golden color. I like that. I'm into it. Let's make it light. Go right from here. It's going to stop right here. And it's going to then go out of the city and come all the way over here to Royal Lakes. Royal Lakes. We love to see it. Connect right back up into here. And connect right back up into here. I haven't done anything with this other train line yet. We're going to deal with that later. But now what we got to do is we got to get this train line to go do something. So I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to use this train line and send it up this way. It's making me question the orientation of this rail depot, actually, now that I'm looking at it. But I want to have another rail that kind of goes over this way and heads out this direction. Maybe for now we'll just leave it be because I don't actually know what to do with it. What we can do though, now that we have a rail depot, is do a little bit of cargo work. Before we do anything, I did get a comment from Steven_003, I believe, that me placing this rocket fuel refinery all the way over here makes absolutely zero sense. It would be close to where you actually have your oil being refined. So that means we probably should move it. And since it's free for me to move this thing, I'm just going to plop it right here for the moment. And then what I want to do is I actually am going to purchase, I know, another tile. This is getting crazy. We're going to buy this one as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flatten out some of this land. So we've already got a little bit of this flattened out, but I actually want this to be slightly above the rest of our build. So I'm going to take this area right here and give this a little bit of a flattening. Nothing too crazy. I don't want to see any cliffs or anything. There's your road entrance there. I think we're going to back it up a little bit further. So I actually want to even smooth this out further. We're going to go down like this. Right to here. Right? And then we can send this 2-lane road right along the front. So now we've got a connection for this. There was also another unique building we unlocked related to this. If I go back over here, I think it was office, or was it industrial? It had to have been industrial. A nanopolymer synthesis unit. So this is also something that can go over here. Honestly, it could just go kind of along the side. If this road was a little bit longer, it would work really well. Okay, there we go. That's great. Do you get any upgrades? No. You already have your upgrades. Perfect. So thank you, Stephen, for calling that out. That is now in the proper place. It's also going to mean that the goods are being transported much faster between these two. And it also makes me wonder if I should just continue this one-way avenue, maybe with a complex curve. We send it down to here, and we just connect this right up and in. We send this road out and over to here. Give it a roundabout. Right? Just give you a little turnaround there. And honestly, I want to do one with grass just so you can have a clear turnaround. And yep, take another lap. Take another lap. We love to see that. Yeah, that's perfect. Now, right in here, I am thinking this is going to be pretty industrial in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and give all of this here a key wall. Okay, we're also going to give this side of this a key wall. That way, I can come in here and I can clear all of this down to this level here. And I want to then place a road kind of right through the middle here. We'll do an intersection right here, a little bit out of the way. And we'll even reduce this to an alleyway right here just so we can ensure we get zoning back there. I'm not going to make this any more difficult than it needs to be. This is all going to be heavy industry. We're going to zone the whole thing to be heavy industry. Bam. There it is. We're slowly building this area out. Now, in the future, I am going to want to connect these two industrial areas with a cargo train line. I have to figure out how that's going to look. But for now, I think we've got a decent train connection right here. All right. With this in place, I do think we want to do a few other things here just to wrap up this little area of Pelican. First things first, I think we now need to change the district. Doesn't make any sense. This now can move, I think, right along this road. This is the new edge of Pelican, this whole area here. And it makes me question if Old City ends here with this road or if it actually incorporates most of this highway section. I don't actually know yet. Let's, for now, just end it straight. I think that's fine. Let's go ahead and give this little area here its own section as well. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we got to figure out how to make all these things connect. So I think in this area here, we've still got our college. I would like to have a little bit more development back in this corner, but now we have a hill to contend with. So what I think we do is I think we take a, can I even do another road here? I can. Oh man. I didn't think I'd be allowed to do another road here, but I'm going to. We're going to send a road right here. Switch to my regular curve tool. No, actually, keep the complex curve. We're going to send it over like this and send it over to here. I think it might just come straight up and out. No? Like right to there? It's a strange little road, but it will work. If I was to take maybe connected right to here, we sent this road straight on in, and then we sent it straight on over like so. It's a real big cul-de-sac, but I think I'm okay with that. And then we go to platter. We go to platter. Let's grab the NL medium density. And you could imagine some of this might actually just be student housing. Like all these became apartments or something, right? Let's go and just do straight. Add a connection point here. Can I get a connection through here without ruining anything? I don't know if I can. I'm going to try, though. That worked. I'll take it. So I'm going to get some more buildings there. That's going to definitely need some trees. I think over here, I actually am going to do something slightly different. Instead of using platter to zone anything, I want to come in here and I want to do residential buildings and I want to do some filtering. We want to go to the French pack. We want to do low rent, but I want to do low rent level 4. This is then going to be locked. So we're going to do low rent level 4 and I'm going to figure out what goes here. I like this. I really like the H shape. I think the H shape works really well for like a college campus. So if we were to do 2 H shapes next to each other and then lock these. They won't get to level 5. Once they get to level 5, they get the blue ornate roof. And I don't necessarily want that roof for this area. They're right across the street from a parking lot, so they don't need their own dedicated parking lot. But then all of this here could become trees and filled out looking real nice. Then it leaves us with this area. Now we do have a little section here that we don't want to interact with or mess with because this is going to become additional tracks if we ever need them. I don't really think we do, but I think it's going to fill the whole building out and would look nice. It's only $4,000 a month upkeep. So I'm going to say, let's go ahead and build it. It just makes it look complete, which I like. Yeah, I think that's probably what we want to do. I think what we could get away with is a road that goes to here and connects up to here. Because we have this pedestrian path, so it kind of connects right in and looks all right. This is going to get a lot of busy traffic here. I don't exactly know why. What's causing this intersection to be a particular problem? Is it just all the bikes? I honestly just don't think there's enough lanes. We could do a 5-lane asymmetrical upgrade right here. It wouldn't delete anything. Though it is kind of clearing out pretty nicely. But we can do this without deleting anything, so we might as well. Let's go ahead and slow this back down. That's got itself solved. That's totally fine. So now we have this extra connection here. Got a ton of people moving in, so there's bound to be a traffic jam there for sure. Not surprising. I think this neighborhood right here, this little block of Carlisle Street, is going to, unfortunately for those who live here, is going to be more Netherlands style buildings. Then we could place this right here and this right here. Perfectly fills this area. Now, remember, there's no reason we can't totally revamp all of this down the line. And we very well might do that. But that gives me a few more houses there. Entrance right into the city. Surrounds the college with some residential. And then it leaves us with this little space here, which I think this is just going to be some kind of park that we've expanded across the street from our train station. Do I have a park that would just kind of fit in here real nice? I don't think I do. Like, we've got some of these parks. This doesn't make a lick of sense. It's a campfire site. Like, why would there be a campfire site? And then some of these are just really small. Not necessarily like the vibe that I was going for this area. But if we zoom out, there's not a lot of park coverage. And placing even just one of these here would provide a ton of coverage for this area. So let's actually put that down. Why not? If we place that there, we can grab our actual path, send this straight on out. Hold on. This is the moment. And then I think all that's really needed all over here are a ton of trees. Once they're in place, this is going to look way better. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, while doing all of that tree placement, we ended up transitioning into fall, but I think that looks pretty decent all around. I also went ahead and gave both of the final upgrade to this train station. I didn't feel like we needed to wait. It's not that expensive. So I threw that upgrade on here. We've had a decent number of passengers coming in and out, and people are also occasionally waiting at this train station, which I find hysterical since we've not even built out that area yet. But I think this looks pretty decent. In the next part, we're going to do a lot more work here, I think, in downtown. I wanted to start upgrading some of our buildings now that we have high density commercial, and in no time we're going to have high density office as well. So I think we're going to get to see a lot of change here, and that's going to be exciting. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Lorelai, follow your dad out. I can't have your tippy taps. I can't edit them out.